Hi, everyone. Welcome back. So I know that I recorded a collective reading earlier today, but I was driving home and really feeling inspired to come on and share a little bit of a message here. This is going to be a bit more off the cuff, so I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but there's just a few things I wanted to share about this energy space that I've been feeling that we've sort of all been in, or at least many in this collective have been in lately. So, the first message that came through for someone is, do you have any idea how much your existence here impacts the collective consciousness? Because I feel that I'm picking up on someone who has, first of all, been doubting themselves a little bit lately. And I'm hearing something about a fork in the road. So maybe lately you've been kind of feeling as though I'm hearing your path has been diverting in a stronger way from others. So what I'm getting is somehow certain differences about you are being highlighted, differences about how you operate or about your path or the path that you've chosen or that you're taking in this life. And so at times recently, you may have found yourself in situations where I'm hearing you feel face to face with the opposite, maybe like an opposite type of path that you could have taken, or an opposite kind of energy or person from yourself. And I'm getting the word confronting, that something about this might feel confronting for you, or as though your differences are being highlighted. I know that this is a very nuanced kind of energy, so I don't know who this is going to be connecting with, but the sense that I've been getting lately is almost like you keep feeling as though you are on the other side of this kind of energy, but then somehow you keep feeling yourself pulled back into it. And the best way I can describe it, and the way that I've personally experienced it myself, is this sensation of feeling this excitement or passion or exhilaration for a vision that's coming together, for something that feels like it's coming into focus, and almost feeling on cloud nine, like getting this excited kind of feeling. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, starting to get these waves of anxiety or echoes of old fear patterns that are actually connected to the past or to past versions of you. And I'm hearing the words, I don't know if everything is falling apart or coming together. And that might be kind of how you're feeling right now. Like, on the one hand, you feel like I'm getting that you're happier than you've ever been, or more peaceful, more fulfilled. But then on the other hand, you have moments where you are doubting yourself or feeling like those old echoes of fear or anxiety are coming back up. So my main purpose with this video today is to make you feel less alone if that is something that you are experiencing. And I'm also getting the words, allow yourself to be supported. So there is this sense that the universe wants to support you through whatever this is, and that a part of you has almost maybe been a little bit resistant to allowing yourself to be so loved or to be so supported. It's possible that this is even an old pattern of guilt that is surfacing here around letting yourself be so cared for in certain ways, or so supported, that has been sort of blocking this support from entirely coming in. Although that's not even completely true, because I'm getting that this support is coming in spite of your resistance. So it's okay if you find yourself, I'm hearing, finding it difficult to be loved at times or to receive this care or support, because it's coming anyway. You're going to still be loved and be supported, because part of this phase of your life and your journey, and I'm starting to tear up a little bit as I'm channeling into this energy, because this feels so beautiful for you, but it also feels really emotional at the same time. And what I'm getting is that this is the part of your journey where you are not meant to be doing things alone anymore. And at times you're going to question the support that comes in, or old worthiness wounds or patterns are going to come up within you. And in a way, it's going to press the limits of what you feel you deserve and what you feel you're worthy of. But that's exactly why it's so important. And I hope that this video inspires you to allow in that love and that care and that support as it comes to you, because it's a gift from the universe. It's meant to help to kind of bolster and reinforce you in some way as you keep moving forward on your pathway. I also keep getting something about being authentic and dropping into your heart and leaving the rest to the universe and allowing some things to be unknown. And so I feel like so much of this reading, we've been kind of talking in riddles, and I'm not really trying to do that, but there have been so many abstract kind of sentences and sayings coming through. So I would love to hear from you. If you do want to let me know in the comments if something is connecting for you and you're feeling inspired to share anything, because sometimes I don't exactly know how these messages are connecting and I can doubt myself in that way. And so reading your comments and seeing that things are connecting can be really validating and helpful for me as a reader too. And I'm so grateful for those of you who do take the time to share those connection points to the reading. Although, of course, I'm really grateful also to those of you who are silent listeners, because I know that that is just as powerful, that even when you're listening silently, your energy is being felt here. And so I am grateful for that as well. And really just for this community, generally, I'm feeling this like welling up of love and care for this space that we've created here. And so thank you for being part of this space. I know many of you have been here almost from the beginning of this channel, from the inception of our space here. So I also do have coffee. I know it's getting a little late in the day if you're in Eastern Standard Time like me, but I wanted a little bit of afternoon coffee. And so I am going to be shuffling some of the cards here and seeing what wants to come through. If you've been tuning into the last couple readings, I believe, I've been really opening into this new deck and leaning into sharing more from here. And it's called Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic Tarot. I am loving this deck. I'm especially loving the guidebook. And I feel like every time I talk about it, I sound like I'm affiliated with it or something, which I'm not, but it is a really beautiful deck, and I don't really know where you can get it. I was gifted it, and I believe the person who gifted it to me got it at a bookstore, I want to say. So maybe you can find it at a bookstore, like a Barnes & Noble or something, or probably online if not. So let me take a sip of my coffee here. I got the number 818, which is interesting because I got this number recently as well, and many of you were telling me that it's a California area code. It seems like it could be an area code for a couple different places. I believe one of the places was like LA, the San Fernando Valley or something like that. I'm not super familiar with LA geography or area codes, so you can clarify that for me in the comments section. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but let's go ahead and pull some cards here. I love the energy around these Friday night readings. I can't really explain it, but there's something comfortable about reading at this kind of time slot. I think it's because whenever I read on a Friday night, I always feel almost like we're friends just hanging out or having a cup of coffee, maybe late at night somewhere, if you do that like I do sometimes. Just kind of having a discussion about things going on in the energy and what we're experiencing. And I want these readings to feel that way, especially these mini readings that I do outside of the larger collective readings. I know a lot of you actually connect even more with the mini readings than the bigger collective readings. So I sometimes feel like there's a different kind of almost more maybe personal energy that I pick up in the mini readings. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it is a beautiful thing. So for some reason, I'm hearing something about like a mechanic. I'm not really an expert with tools, but I think it's like a wrench or something. So maybe someone is fixing or building something, or I'm not sure how that connects for you. This could be you or someone that you're connecting with at this time. And whoa, some cards really wanted to fly out. I'm definitely not going to be able to read from all of these cards in the guidebook. So we'll just be reading some of these traditionally, like we would with traditional tarot. And maybe as I feel guided, I will read a guidebook excerpt. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords. Ooh, that is an interesting energy. There's a fox coming up here. I'm getting a wave of goosebumps here as well. The Seven of Swords connects with some kind of like deceit or something being hidden in a way. And then we have the Nine of Wands. So there's this sense of something coming to a close or you carrying some kind of burden. But then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So somehow this unfolds into a brand new beginning with the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, this is about growing in a meaningful direction and also feeling supported in that direction. So, of course, there's many different ways that you could conceptualize this energy. But the first thing that I'm picking up here is that, I keep picking up like these walls or buffers around someone's heart. And I'm going to turn on another light in here because it's getting a little bit dark. It's sunset while I'm recording this, but I'll be scheduling it for a couple hours later. So the first message I'm getting is there's this sense of there being walls of protection around someone's heart that are somehow becoming heavier than they've been in the past. And I feel that for some of you listening, this could go back to that idea of the universe wanting to send in love and support for you, but it's almost like there are these buffers. I don't even want to say walls because I feel like that's not completely accurate. I'm getting that you've done a lot of deconstructing work to the walls that you may have had around your heart. This feels more like sort of a self-protective buffer, not like a full-blown wall. I'm not sure if can you feel the distinction? I feel like there's a distinction there. These feel like buffers, but not like actual walls. Ooh, there's a message. So it's not that you're keeping love out, but it's that you're almost like, I don't know, stifling something, or you're not letting yourself feel the full effect of something. So you're not missing it entirely, but you're also not feeling it entirely either. This could be something you're experiencing in a romantic connection. This also could be, and I'm getting for some of you, this is relating to how you connect with your heart. And I'll share a little personal anecdote, like in the spirit of this, because I've been really feeling this in my own content and the music that I create, and also here on the channel. What I've been noticing is that I've been feeling guided into even deeper levels of vulnerability and heart openness. And it's strange because I feel that like sometimes when I'm doing a reading or creating a song or sharing something with you guys, I feel this like really reverberating connection with my own heart that feels like it's on a deeper level than it's been for me before. And I'm hearing natural voice. Yeah, like on my own journey, I feel if you listen to my first readings or videos on the channel, a lot of people will almost think that it's a different person, but it's still me. It's just that my voice and the way that I share myself on this channel has changed a lot over the years. It's been a gradual process, but for those of you who have followed this journey for me and on this channel, the reason that my voice has changed so much isn't because it's literally altered. It's because there's been like this unraveling happening within me. I've been taking this journey with all of you. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about this journey and about this channel is I feel like we've all been on this journey together in a way. And so for me, it's felt like I've been peeling back these walls and layers of myself and getting to my true natural voice, to this place where I'm able to just speak naturally and like openly and freely when I share content here. And it is, I keep using the word beautiful, but it's such a beautiful thing for me, at risk of overusing that word. And the reason I felt guided to share that is because I sometimes feel this like internal, I don't want to say pressure, but there's this feeling, and I'm sure many of you get this if you are a creator online, where it's like, I have to be conscious of like being fully in my own heart. And I can feel it when I really drop into my heart space in a deeper way. And I can also feel it when there's almost like a little bit of a buffer or like a tension within me around my heart a little bit as I'm sharing. And I don't know if any of you, I'm sure that you experience this. If you are an online creator or a speaker or just an artist, like whatever you're doing, I'm sure you feel this as a creative being, because what I've noticed is that we as a collective are really being guided to be more heart open and vulnerable than ever before, and to drop into our heart space in a deeper, more consistent way. And I've spoken about the magnetism of this, but it's also really scary in the process too, because it can leave you feeling really exposed in a way. And very few people are willing to let themselves be seen and be understood completely in that kind of way, which is, I'm getting that like you have, and maybe now we're getting to like the heart of a message here. I feel that you have this gift for being unusually heart open, and this seems to impact people in different ways when they interact with you. You've always had this gift, but lately you've been feeling this push to take it to an even greater level than you ever have before, just like I talked about here on my own channel. And really, even for me, in this past year, sharing my voice through my music has been such a leap of faith for me, because this is a part of myself that I've kept private and kept bottled up for a really long time. And I always told myself when I started posting content here that eventually I would start doing music again. I mean, I was always songwriting behind the scenes, like on my own, but I promised myself, and in a way, I kind of feel like I promised my inner child that I would always return back to sharing my music publicly again and bringing in that part of myself, kind of weaving it in, to go back to that weaving imagery we've been using so much in the readings lately. But when the time came that I knew it was time to be doing that, I felt afraid, because there's been so much that we've built up here together on the channel, and I really didn't know how people would feel or respond to it when I started sharing this part of myself that feels like so personal in a way and intimate to me. And it felt kind of like bearing my soul in a sense through these songs that I was sharing. And so it's been a journey for me this past year to being more open and vulnerable through sharing my own music here. And I feel really like I was meant to say that, because for someone listening, maybe you've either been on that same journey or you've been kind of contemplating taking a similar journey. There's something about keeping a promise to your inner child. And that's what I felt and what I saw through this journey for myself. It feels like sharing my music is me keeping a promise to myself, but mainly to my inner child who had this desire to create in this way. And it feels like I'm honoring her dream and her desire by creating and sharing this part of me, even when it's scary. And I have been overwhelmed with gratitude by the response of this community here to these songs that I've created, because it does feel like this kind of like vulnerable, sort of fragile part of myself in a way. And I hope that if you're listening to this and you've been on a similar journey, which I know many of you have, that you feel inspired to take the leap and to keep a promise to your inner child, whatever that is for you, and that maybe this inspires you to go deeper into your heart than ever before, because I know that you've probably been feeling the pull in that direction. And if that's something that you've been doing lately and it's been scary, then I just want to say that in my own way, I see you in that. I mean, maybe not literally, but through the way that we're connected here, I can feel you on that journey, just like I know you feel me being on that journey too. And I hope that this inspires you to keep going, because I feel something really important is happening here for you. I feel like you're coming full circle with something where you're keeping a promise you made to your inner self by whatever it is that you're doing or sharing with the world. And in whatever way you're doing that, I know that we all have our own unique ways of sharing ourselves with the world, but I just keep hearing there's something really important happening here. And maybe just saying that is meant to trigger some kind of soul remembrance within you. Like there's something that you were meant to remember, that you were meant to revisit, just like I shared revisiting that promise to my inner child about sharing my music. I feel like there's some kind of promise that you made to your inner child or to yourself that you've been revisiting for a reason that feels important because it is. And I hope that I can be some kind of support for you along that journey. And what I'm picking up, to kind of get back to the cards that we pulled here, it's clear that with the Seven of Swords, it's almost like you've been introspecting and realizing, I'm hearing that you've been almost holding back in a way, like holding back maybe something you've been wanting to do or a part of yourself. Or like for me, it was sharing my music. And there's this sense that you're buffering your heart by doing that, but you're also not accessing your true potential, because your true potential lies in the places where you're scared to go, but where you also feel so much passion. And there's something about how people are going to resonate with the most authentic version of you, the version of you that is like vulnerable and messy and completely in your heart, but that they can't hear that version of you, of course, unless you have the courage to share it. And so there's something about the power of, like, I'm literally seeing someone putting their hand over their heart. And sometimes I feel that when you put your hand over your heart and you're someone who's very energetically sensitive, you can literally feel when you speak your own words like reverberating in your heart. So I feel like it can be helpful, like if you're, I don't know, speaking something or contemplating something, maybe try like saying it out loud and putting your hand over your heart and seeing if you can feel the reverberation. Like, is this thing that I'm contemplating or saying really connecting with my heart? Because as someone who's so empathic like you are, you should be able, like I'm sure you'll be able to kind of feel those heart chakra reverberations. So I feel like this deserves another sip of coffee, just trying to tie together all of this information here. Yeah, it just feels like something has become too heavy not to share. It's something that is, I'm hearing, so powerful, but it feels like a burden when you're carrying it. Like if you take it and transmute it, it holds tremendous power. But when you hold it in your being, it almost begins to feel like a weight. I'm hearing unshared passion becomes a weight when it's carried instead of being shared, instead of being like transmuted or put into art or something like that. For someone very specific, I'm getting a message about you carrying something, and I'm getting the word grief. It feels like it might be something that you have been grieving or something very heavy or challenging. And when you sit in that energy, it feels almost unbearable. But that's because whatever it is, it feels like it's meant to be created with, or it's meant to be infused into something in a sense. And when you take that energy, you know, it's kind of reminding me of the other day when I just laid in bed for like 4 hours in the middle of the day, which is so unlike me. And I could feel this like heavy, almost like a grief energy, but I didn't really know what the source of it was. Let me know if you've experienced anything similar to that lately. I do really enjoy hearing about your experiences and parallels in our experiences, because clearly, like, there are so many collective themes that emerge and that we can really begin to notice as we connect and share what we're going through and what we're feeling. And it can make us feel less alone in this world. But anyway, I realized in hindsight that that energy that was weighing me down was wanting to be created with. It was wanting to be moved, but it's almost like I was trying to be too rigid with it and trying to like control it. And that led me to this state of just being burnt out by it because I was carrying it. But the better thing to do in that moment would have been to like turn on the microphone and to share something with you guys, or to write something, or to begin writing lyrics or something like that. And so I'm getting that imagery because I feel that for someone listening, it's almost like something that you've been carrying or that sometimes feels, I just get the word unbearable. I feel like at times it feels so heavy. It's almost like, I don't know how to continue on. I don't know how to keep carrying this. And if you've been in that state, I feel that there's some way that you can move that energy in your own way, that you can create something with it that lives outside of you, because you are someone who has this beautiful ability to feel so deeply. And by the way, in a world where so many people are disconnected from their true emotions, from feeling, from their hearts, you have to know, I have to tell you at the end of this video that your ability to feel on this planet is such a gift, and the world needs your softness. Sometimes I feel that people might think that you are naive or kind of oblivious because you tend to carry this lightness about you that doesn't really reflect the heaviness that you've gone through or that sometimes you're still carrying. It's almost like what you went through doesn't show on your face or like on your appearance. And that, in a way, it's like a beautiful thing that you can radiate such softness and warmth and love and lightness that doesn't seem to reflect the pain and the heaviness that you've been through. But on the other hand, I feel sometimes that can make you feel a little bit unseen, because it's almost like you have this whole hidden world that never seems to show on the surface, where you are at times carrying so much weight and heaviness that people would never know that you were carrying, where you are feeling echoes of a past that people would never be able to even detect that you'd ever experienced. But I want you to know how profound and how lovely and truly how impactful it is that you are able to connect with your heart, because most of the world doesn't even really know what they're feeling. They've been so disconnected from themselves for so long that they don't even have the ability to really drop into their heart because there are so many walls there. So I feel that there is just this message coming through right at the end. Like, it's kind of bringing us full circle in a way, because at the beginning I said something about like, do you know how powerful your existence here is? Like how much it impacts people that you are existing in this heart open way here on earth. And now it kind of feels like that's being brought full circle in a sense. But I hope that if nothing else, this little transmission has been a place where you've felt maybe seen or acknowledged in a way that I'm getting this like group of the collective doesn't often feel seen or acknowledged. And again, it's because you don't look like what you went through. It's because the way that you show up in the world and the energy that you emanate is so soft and different than the harshness of what you've gone through in your life. But know that your presence here on earth is felt and understood and seen in the cosmos. In a sense, it is having this true deep impact on the collective, even though I feel that for this specific group, at times it almost does feel unbearable, like to feel to this extent and to have gone through what you've been through and to at times be carrying the weight of the world. It can feel unbearable at times. So I hope you know the value of your presence here. And I hope that you continue to every day have the courage to pick yourself back up. There's such a resiliency in your energy. I feel like you are someone who I'm hearing has picked yourself back up again 1,000 times. But I know that this message has been pretty heavy, but I have to say I'm also getting the message things are about to get really good for you. I feel that I'm hearing like happily ever after. There's this sense of you getting a beautiful ending to a story that's been really challenging. And I want to channel more into that. I feel like there are more messages there, but I also feel that this reading is maybe meant to be kind of like, it feels like it's come full circle. It feels like it's a complete message. So I might save those additional messages for a future video. So if you'd like to stay tuned for that and for my other videos, then of course you're welcome to subscribe here, and I would love to have you here. I also want to share with you, as we've been speaking here, that I've been thinking about a specific subliminal that I created as I've personally been dealing with a lot of this energy and working with it, especially the side of this energy that can feel more ungrounding, the waves of anxiety and fear that can come up at times, and that sometimes you can even feel in your physical body. I'm very familiar with those myself, and to support you and also myself, because I use it too, on this journey, I've created a subliminal that I named Divine Physical Stability. But essentially, it's meant to help you to come back to your body and to feel more safe and secure and grounded, because you are all of those things. You are so divinely cared for and protected, and this subliminal is created to help you to remember that, but on a really deep level, because subliminals are operating with your subconscious. And so much of what we're processing right now is this almost like a weight that we carry and that we feel subconsciously. So part of the purpose of this subliminal and what I wove into it is this idea of taking that heaviness and actually transmuting it into art and magic and creativity in your own life, while also really stabilizing yourself at those deepest, most core subconscious levels of your being. So if you are feeling nudged to try out this subliminal for yourself, if that is feeling like it is something that would be beneficial for you, then you can access it through my Subliminals app. And all of my subliminals are in this app. So the name of the app is Sound and Soulful, and you can find it by searching for it. It's in the app stores, so the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. But I will also leave a direct link to learn more about the app underneath this video, and that will be in either the pinned comment or the description box below. So I'm really feeling into the energy to see if there's anything else here that wants to come out. I'm hearing something about Jupiter, which I'm hearing a lucky turn. Yeah, I feel that Jupiter can relate to luck and success. And combining that with that idea of things really starting to get good for you, I get this message coming through at the end of things beginning to turn for you in a new direction. And there's something very refreshing about that energy, about this next chapter. I'm hearing the word destiny. Yeah, there's this sense that you're stepping into some kind of destiny, like a destined path of sorts. And maybe this relates to those promises that you're keeping for your inner child, because that somehow is playing a role here as well. For some reason, I'm seeing a diner. I'm not sure why, like a 1950s style diner. Anyway, that was so random here at the end. I don't love leaving these readings on such a random note, but I really feel like this message has kind of completed its transmission. So I'm going to be closing things out here. Now, I loved hanging out with all of you in this reading. I love the way it felt more, in a way, conversational and like casual in a sense, if that makes sense. But I, of course, always love knowing what you think about the readings. Did anything connect for you? How are you feeling? Do you have any plans this weekend? Anything that you want to share in the comments below, or nothing. If you're just feeling guided to silently listen, you are still felt and seen and part of this community as well. But I'm going to close things out here, and I hope that you have a really beautiful remainder of your Friday, at risk of using the beautiful word again for like the 20th time in this reading. But I hope you have a great night, and hopefully I will be back on here again with some messages this weekend, because I'm feeling that fire horse energy. Have you been feeling that yet in your own life? And I am starting to feel more of a surge of like organic inspiration and motivation, like we've been talking about in recent readings. So I'm feeling like there are going to be some more videos coming through this channel, and I can't wait to connect with you again in those. So I will see you here again in the next video.